I have 10 book series that I definitely want to start in 2026, and I also need your help to let me know in the comment below which one I should start first, because even though there's only 10, it is kind of overwhelming, and I have other book series that I'm kind of in the middle of. So let's start with the first 10 book series, because I technically have 2 extra series that I will put at the end of the video that I also want to start. The first book series that I am dying to start, and it is this book series. Honestly, I don't know what exactly the book series is called. I think it's God of Games or something like that, but The Striker is the first book in the series. It is about Asher and Scarlett. Asher is a footballer. I think he's a soccer player. Scarlett used to be a prima ballerina, but because of an accident, she is just kind of teaching now. Asher is her brother's rival, and they kind of started to train together in the summer, and of course, because it is a romance book, they also started to get attracted to each other, but she knows to not get involved with Asher because Asher, like I said, is her brother's rival. The next one that I again wanted to start, because I think this book is going to get a TV series. I'm not sure which studio it's gonna be under. I want to say it was Prime, Amazon Prime, I think. Anyways, this one is The Deal by L. Kennedy. This is all gonna be the first book in the book series. Anyways, I think this one is about 4 college girls who I think are the girlfriend of the members of the hockey team in this college. This one is going to be about Hannah and Garrett. Hannah has finally found someone who turns her on, but while she might be confident in every other area of her life, she's carrying around a full set of baggage when it comes to sex and seduction. If she wants to get her crush's attention, she'll have to step out of her comfort zone and make him take notice, even if it means tutoring the annoying, childish, cocky captain of the hockey team in exchange for a pretend date. All Garrett Graham has ever wanted is to play professional hockey after graduation, but his plummeting GPA is threatening everything he's worked so hard for. If helping a sarcastic brunette make another guy jealous will lift his grades and secure his position on the team, he is all for it. But when one unexpected kiss leads to the wildest sex of both of their lives, it doesn't take long for Garrett to realize that pretend isn't going to cut it. Now he just has to convince Hannah that the man she wants looks a lot like him. I kind of like the premise already. I like that smart girl, like jock guy kind of situation, and it seems like she technically doesn't like him at first, but she likes someone else and trying to get that some other guy jealous by going on a date with the love interest. Next book series is going to be one of Elsie Silver's series, and I think it is called the Rose Hill series because it says it on the front here. And the first book is called Wild Love. This one is going to be about Ford and Rosie. Forbes may have labeled Ford the world's hottest billionaire, but all he cares about is escaping the press and opening a recording studio in gorgeous small town Rose Hill. Something that comes to a screeching halt when he ends up face to face with a young girl who's claimed that he is her father. Now he spends his days balancing business with parenting a sullen 12 years old, all while trying desperately to keep his hands the hell off his best friend's sister, Rosie. After living in the city, Rosie came blasting back into town like a storm. Beautiful, messy, and chaotic, and one wide-eyed, desperate plea for a job is all it takes for Ford to hire her. He vows to keep her at arm's length, tries to stick to scowls and grumpy one-liners, but with her, verbal sparring is a type of foreplay, friction that soon turns to blistering heat. Ford knows well he shouldn't cross this line, but shouldn't and can't are 2 very different things, and the only thing he truly can't do is resist her. Anyways, let me know if you like this series. Again, there's some things that is going on with this author's new series from the arc that was distributed out earlier in the year, but I did not read it. I didn't really know too much about it, but this is one of the beloved series as well. I feel like I have one of her other series somewhere in my 2026 TBR. The next book series that I definitely want to start is, I think, the Aunties series by Jessie Q. Sutanto. The first book is this one, Dial A for Aunties. This, I believe, is a cozy mystery book series. They are kind of somewhat relating to like a wedding or something like that. So honestly, it just kind of sparks my interest. Anyways, this one is about Madeline. When Madeline Chen ends up accidentally killing her blind date, I did not know that, her meddlesome mother calls for her even more meddlesome aunties to help get rid of the body. Unfortunately, a dead body proves to be a lot more challenging to dispose of than one might anticipate, especially when it is inadvertently shipped in a cake cooler to the over-the-top billionaire wedding that Maddie, her ma, and her aunties are working at an island resort on the California coastline. It is the biggest job yet for the family wedding business. Don't leave your big day to chance, leave it to the chance. That is such a cute one-liner. And nothing, not even an unsavory corpse, will get in the way of her auntie's perfect buttercream flowers. But things go from inconvenient to downright torturous when Maddie's great college love and biggest heartbreak makes a surprise appearance amid the wedding chaos. Is it possible to escape murder charges, charm her ex back into her life, and pull off a stunning wedding all in one weekend? I did not know that the main character accidentally killed her blind date. How does that happen? I feel like this is kind of giving me a little bit of the Finley Donovan series. I'm hoping that it is kind of like a little bit fun and funny like that. I honestly hope I love it because I did read or started reading Farah Wong. I read the first book. Not really finishing it, but like I just started reading the first few pages and I don't really like it as much. But hopefully this one, because there's like 5 other characters, I would like it better. So the next book that I really want to read, because it's been out for I want to say 10 years now, and this book series recently just got reprinted with like the sprayed edges and stuff, but I do have the older version, and it is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This one is the first book. I believe there's technically maybe 5 actual books, but I think there's a couple like extra books at the end or something like that. There's even like a prequel novella before this one that I already have. So if you have read this book series, let me know if I should read Red Queen first and then read that novella, or if I should read the novella first and then read the first book, because honestly I haven't done any of my research. I will Google it probably before I start reading this book series, but if you know, let me know in the comment below. And also, to be honest, I have no idea what this book is all about. I actually found this first book at a local library when I was in California last year, and I got this for $3, and then I found almost all of the rest of the book in the book series from book outlets, so I decided to get them. Mayor Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly rats, destined to serve the silver elite, whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. When Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own she didn't know she had, the Silver King is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and pretend she's a long-lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. Soon, Mare is drawn into the silver world, where loyalty and desire can tear you apart, and the only certainty is betrayal. And before long, her actions put into motion a deadly and violent dance, pitting prince against prince and Mare against her own heart. So is this a love triangle? Okay, I am kind of excited to read this. So let me know again if you have read the Red Queen book series and convince me to start it this year. So the next book series that I have, it is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one, I think I read the first few pages probably last year, and I know that I think I'm gonna love it. I just didn't decide to pick this book up that time. But this one is about Avery, who has a plan for a better future: survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. The only catch: Avery must move into his sprawling mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, Hawthorne House is also occupied by the family that was just disinherited. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic boys who grew up with every expectation that one day they would inherit billions. Heir apparent Grayson is convinced that Avery is a con woman, and he's determined to take her down. But his brother Jameson views her as their grandfather's last hurrah. A twisted riddle, a puzzle to be solved. Caught in a world of wealth and privilege with danger around every turn, Avery will have to play the game herself just to survive. I don't know about you, but I feel like this just sounds really, really interesting. I have a feeling that there might be some subplot romance, maybe of a love triangle, because I heard Grayson and Jameson. So these two brothers have like a opposite view of Avery, and I just want to find out all about it. I, again, already have all of the books in the series, of course, and let me know in the comment below if you have read this book series and what your thoughts are. The next book that I have is another long-ish series, but I think I only have the first 3 or 4 books, I believe, and that is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. I actually have the hardcover version of this book with like the actual like girl, or I think, what's her name? Juliet. And the cover, because I found it for $1 at my local library, so I decided to pick it up. No one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the reestablishment has plans for her. Plans to use her as a weapon. But Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time and to find a future with the one boy she thought she'd lost forever. In the electrifying first book in the Shatter Me series, Tahereh Mafi presents a riveting dystopian world, a thrilling superhero story, and an unforgettable heroine. I think this is gonna be an interesting book series to read. I honestly don't know much other than the back of the book. I know there's probably technically 7 or 8 books in the series, but I heard from someone that the, like, I think book 4 to the end or 5 to the end is kind of like just about the side characters in the first few books. She said that if you love those other side characters, you can continue on with the series, but I think the first 3 or 4 books are like the core series about the main characters. The next one that I have is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I, again, already have all of the books in the series because I bought the box set, I believe. And this, again, is a very interesting YA, I think, dystopian book. This is kind of set in a world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all of those things and has even conquered death. Now, Scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. So there's these 2 kids who are chosen to be the apprentice to a Scythe, a role that none of them wants, and these teenagers must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own life. They learn living in a perfect world comes only with a heavy price. Again, the premise sounds really, really interesting. This is also a YA book. It might not be for everybody, but to me, again, sounds interesting. I just want to find out, why do they not want to be a Scythe? Because it seems like it's an important job. You have to like choose to end someone's life. I just feel like that's kind of like a god. So I don't know why they don't want it. I feel like there's some type of maybe hidden mystery or something like that within this like world that has basically conquered everything. So I'm just curious. Let me know again in the comment below if you have read this book or if you have read the whole book series. The next book that I have is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Again, I have read about this book and watched about this book so much because everybody loved this book. I think this is a 4-book series or a quartet, and of course I already have all 4 books in the series. I think this is maybe some type of fantasy dystopian world as well. I'm not really sure, so let's read the back of the book. Under the Martial Empire, defiance is met with death. Leia, I think that's Leia or Laia? Leia and her family do not challenge the Empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Leia's brother is arrested for treason, she is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the Empire's greatest military academy. There, Leia meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and secretly, its most unwilling. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined, and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. This just sounds very interesting. Not really up my alley, not really in my comfort read, but since I already bought the book, I decided that I have to at least try the first book this year. I follow a few YouTubers who have read this book, and some like it, some don't really care too much about it, so I just want to read it for myself. And again, if you are a fan of Sabaa Tahir and her book series, let me know in the comment below what you thought about this one. Oh, this is number 10. So I do have this one and 2 extra book series that I definitely want to start in 2026. And this last one is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I think that is how you say her name. But I have heard so many great things about this book series, and it's just so funny that the book in the series always come out in August, and it's always kind of like the first Tuesday, so it's around my birthday. And I think the 4th book in the series, maybe the 5th one, I don't remember, but it's coming out in August. And of course I already pre-ordered the book. I know, I'm insane because I haven't even read the first one, so hopefully I'll be able to read this first book before August, so I can kind of gauge whether or not I will like this series. But I feel like it's gonna be a funny series that people really enjoy because it makes them laugh, so I think I will like it. With ailing family to support, Evie's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Ranadon's most infamous villain results in a job offer, naturally she says yes. But no job is perfect, of course, but even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie. But just when she's getting used to severed heads suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of an errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind. Because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renadon, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only resist drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. I just want to know what is going on, and what is the villain doing, and what is an assistant to the villain does. How hot is he that Evie is having a teeny tiny crush? And it seems like it's a big crush. Anyways, I know that, like I said, this book is funny, and it also has this little froggy character, I guess. I think this frog is on all of the covers of this book series, and I am just curious on what this frog is doing with the villain and with Evie. And I think there's something about the villain. The villain is called the villain. There's like no name or anything. And I feel like something happened definitely between the 2 of them. So I just want to know what is that all about. So I promise you that I will talk about 2 extra book series because I just have so many book series. And for most of this book series, like I said, I already have all of the book in the series. So I definitely have to start at least reading the first book this year. This extra book series, the first one is this one, the Bridgerton book series. The Duke and I is the first book in the series. I kind of talked about this book in my first book haul video that I posted maybe a couple weeks ago now. I know I was supposed to be on a book buying ban for the first 3 months of 2026, which is what I said I would do, but we all know that is not gonna happen. Anyways, I decided to start reading the Bridgerton book series because I kind of want to start watching the show as well. I know season 4 is already out, and that is the newest season, and I know that there are 8 books total, so I think I have some time to catch up. I feel like it's gonna probably take them 2 or 3 more years to actually get to season 8, maybe. I kind of already know the plot-ish of the first book from the first season, but anyways, this one is about Daphne Bridgerton, who is the 4th of 8 siblings in her close-knit family. She has formed friendships with the most eligible young men in London. Everyone liked Daphne for her kindness and wit, but no one truly desires her. Recently returned to England from abroad, he intends to shun both marriage and society, just as his callous father shunned Simon throughout his painful childhood. Yet an encounter with his best friend's sister offers another option. If Daphne agrees to a fake courtship, Simon can deter the mamas who parade their daughters before him. Daphne, meanwhile, will see her prospects and her reputation soar. The plan works like a charm. at first. But amid the glittering, gossipy, cutthroat world of London's elite, there's only one certainty. Love ignores every rule. I'm kind of excited to read this book. It is just kind of funny how there are 8 siblings, but they're starting with the 4th sibling, not like the oldest one, which I feel like makes the book series just kind of interesting. Last but not least is the Spark of the Everflame, which is the Kindred's Curse Saga's first book by Penn Cole. This book again has been so much talked about, and I am just kind of really curious about what this is all about. I heard that Penn Cole is not afraid to kill off her characters, and I think I saw something on thread that might confirm that, and I'm afraid that she might kill off someone that is kind of like important in this book saga. Like I said, I haven't read this book at all, so I definitely want to read the first book this year. This is about, I believe, Diem, who lives in a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel magical offspring. Her mother's sudden disappearance and discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of the Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, enigmatic heir watching her every move and a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her to join a growing civil war, Diem will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. Very interesting premise. I feel like the world building in this one is gonna be amazing, and I cannot wait to read all about it. And I feel like because the book is about 4 books long, I'm not sure if there's gonna be any more after that. I'm gonna definitely learn a little bit more about the world, about the maybe magical system or political system or something like that, and I cannot wait to read this book. Those are technically all of the 12 book series that I definitely want to start in 2026. I know that is a lot of book series, and I think I'm in the middle of 17 currently, so I don't know if adding new book series is good for my reading journey, but I think that's okay. Now thinking about possibly adding 12 more this year is overwhelming, but hopefully I'll be able to finish some of the ones that I already started, especially the ones that are short, maybe that only has 2 books or 3 books. That should be easier to complete because some of these books are what I would call a long book series, like Bridgerton. It has 8 books. That is just a lot.